Well, after that long hiatus, welcome back to our final round here, round number 4 of Modern Mondays here at Guardian Games in Portland, Oregon. And we've dodged it so far, but we are at the top table here at round number 4. So, what do we have for our matchups, Ian?
So we found the Gack. We thought maybe we would be able to dodge the Gack, but it's too good.
The Gak
So
just keeps coming back.
yeah, some people at Guardian like to play good cards, and there's nothing we can do to stop them from making it to the top tables.
Yeah, it's like when you play the best deck in Modern, you might be winning.
Yeah,
But
it's a good call.
so on the other side of the table here, we have Colton Gardner playing some Orzhov Eldrazi. I imagine the white is going to be there for cards like Rest in Peace, maybe even main deck. We'll find out. But we have a turn one Inquisition of Kozlak.
You know, if you have to play like 4 main deck Rest in Peace at your local game store, you know we're in a bad spot.
uh,
But anyway, we're gonna get excited to see some gacking.
yeah, it's a fun thing to watch every now and then, kind of like, a house on fire.
And truthfully, the deck to pilot the deck extremely effectively, it actually does take a lot of skill, and the order of operation is extremely challenging and important.
Well, a good start is a turn one Faithless Looting, I would say.
Agreed.
And at this point, if I was Paul, I might pick up my cards because you don't want your opponent to know like what all you got, and you're discarding if you have doubles of something. But it looks like a Bloodghast, and I did. Did you see the other card that was discarded there?
No, I was too busy thinking about when you said pick up my cards. I was wondering if you just meant that Colton should scoop.
Well, we didn't have a Rest in Peace on turn two or a Leyline, so.
Colton does have paths, though. Looks like he has a path, maybe, and a Fatal Push in hand, and an Eldrazi Displacer.
All right. Bloodghast. Bloodghast comes back. Bloodghast, not a zombie. I always thought that was a flavor fail, but actually pretty important. It's a
Yeah,
spirit, though.
it's a. Is it a spirit vampire then? Because it's a vampire. I know that it's a vampire. Let's take a look.
And get a carrion feeder. It might be hungry.
Ah, together, Travis. We know a complete creature. Bloodghast, a vampire spirit. So, importantly, it does not allow you to cast grave crawlers from your graveyard
Nope.
because it is not a zombie.
But I think we're going to see it sack to this carrion feeder here because Paul is just going to fetch, probably Shock, to get this Insolent Neonate on the battlefield. And that's sort of just a free counter on the carrion feeder. Because although this Hogaak deck can do some pretty broken things, it also is grindy and can build some pretty big creatures with recursion.
I've seen people, K-Ponce is mentioning that people have Plague Engineers oftentimes for this deck. How effective is that card here? I mean, I assume you named Zombie, but I've done some testing with it and I found it like moderately effective, but not insanely effective. I guess paired with Rest in Peace, it's great.
All right, we're pushing the carrion feeder and pathing this Gravecrawler. Was that a Gravecrawler? Did I get that card?
I think it was chat help. It's the creature that lets you.
Breaker?
Yes, Crypt Breaker. That's correct.
Played that one back in Standard a couple of years ago. Discard a card, make a zombie, Crypt Breaker.
Yeah,
There we
it's
go.
a fun one. And can let the deck get ahead to post board if decks mull really low to just target the graveyard.
It's also a way to get around game one Graveyard Hate 2. Have a Crypt Breaker, just make a bunch of zombies. And we have an Eldrazi Displacer here for Colton. Colton playing a very fair game, just casting removal spells and creatures on curve.
It's the Eldrazi way. He hasn't even played any lands that let him cheat on mana yet. Just the fairest of Magic. If only they would just give Colton Containment Priest.
And Colton's playing Vault of the Archangel, which is going to enable him to gain some life in the late game.
Can't believe you're still remembering card names at round 4. It's pretty good.
I used to love Vault of the Archangel. I mean, I still love the card. I'm glad to see Colton sitting at table number 1 and playing it.
Well, I'm sad because Colton used to play Amulet Titan, so we used to get to watch Colton play Amulet Titan, and now he's playing Eldrazi.
Get a looting, get a land discarded, that Insolent Neonate goes to the bin. And an altar, so Paul hasn't been explosive so far.
You never want to say that you never want to say that about the GAC deck when they drop the altar.
Yeah, so Paul has 2 cards in hand, a Bloodghast and altar, so not a super intimidating board state.
Well, let's put up the card that matters here on the board. Vault of the Archangels.
Death Touch and Lifelink combos very well with Lingering Souls.
Yeah, it's really good against things that don't mill you out to no cards in library. Ooh. Okay.
Well, that plays. We're getting a Kaya.
Some main deck graveyard hate.
What are we going to exile here?
Target your lootings.
Okay.
Looks like we're going to target the Faithless Lootings.
I can get behind that. Colton will not gain any life from that. However, getting 2 lootings is probably worth it.
And in step, we're sacking that Bloodghast to the altar, which leads me to believe Paul has another land in hand.
Let's take a look at the newest printing of the Kaya Planeswalker. No, second newest printing of the Kaya Planeswalker. Gosh, there's so many.
Yeah, Bloodghast is coming back after another land drop. And Kaya was very good when Phoenix was the thing, because that deck has not a whole lot of cards that are really important that wants to recur, just a few of them like Looting and the Arclight Phoenix that are in the graveyard. But it's a little bit harder to disrupt this Hogaak deck, but still a fine card to have game 1 in the matchup that is also win condition in and of itself.
Yeah, card's gas.
Oh, and Stitcher Supplier puts a Bridgevine in the graveyard. Do we have a second creature?
So I don't believe Paul has any grave crawlers in the yard.
So there is, maybe you sacrifice the Bloodghast to potentially bin a Gravecrawler. But if you do that and you don't have land drop, then it's going to get exiled. Oh boy. We can kind of keep chaining this. If you bin Stitcher Supplier, you're going to get a zombie and can maybe keep going here.
Well, because if you see a Gravecrawler with a zombie out from binning the Stitcher Supplier.
I neglected to see that Paul had an uncracked fetch here. So let's see if there's a target.
This won't trigger the Bridgevine though. It'll give him some more mill.
Yep, it'll get the Bloodghast back, and we're gonna get a bunch of cards in the graveyard and some zombie tokens.
I think I might have sacked the Stitcher Supplier before bringing this Bloodghast back, just in case you were to hit
another Bloodghast.
Another Ghast.
Yeah.
There are a lot of small operational things with this deck that you can optimize that I think are quite challenging to find a line.
Zombie.
So, Paul does have the...
Oh, we got a stack of zombie tokens here.
Nice, Paul!
Well done.
Oh, I thought there was only a single bridge. Apparently there are 2 bridges.
I have 1 bridge for now,
So, shouldn't there only be 1 token?
Yep, okay,
There
players are correcting that error.
No problem. I thought I had another bridge.
And it looks like there's a looting there too, so might be worth also... that's tricky. Because you want to be able to cast a spell and you don't have any more land drops, so you really want to cast a creature spell here.
Yeah.
But if you hit a Hogaak off looting...
I mean, I think if you hit the Hogaak here, you just win.
Oh, well,
you have the requisite 2 bridges.
Well, we have 2 bridges now, so sacrificing a Stitcher Supplier seems like the way to keep this train moving. Now we're gonna get 2 zombies with this Stitcher Supplier.
Two more zombies.
So even if Paul fizzles here,
That's not a zombie, that's a morph.
Colton's gonna have a lot to deal with, just in terms of power on the board.
There it is.
Found the Gak. Gak attack! Gak attack, Travis.
Oh.
That's game. That's game? It's game over.
Good gap, yeah.
And this is how you get gacked. I
Yeah.
think Paul may have built over an extra card with that Stitcher Supplier, but it was a land, so it's not going to, wouldn't have any
He didn't
effect
get the
on-
one from. Did he get one in addition to the altar?
Oh, right.
Because
Okay.
he should get 4.
Yep, you're right. He got
Okay.
4. There we go.
Those ones. Yeah.
So many things going on right now.
Oh, there's the Vengevine triggers.
Now we're going to get to self-mill a lot, make a whole bunch of zombies, and mill out your opponent.
Chat, in case nobody was watching any Magic this weekend and hasn't seen how this deck wins from the probably like 50 matches on camera from this weekend, we're about to see it.
Well, I was at the river drinking, so I did not did not see it.
All
But
right.
I sort of knew it was coming, and
Well,
I'm fine.
Let me enlighten you as to the process. You
Okay, Paul. You know, I was on your team for a while, but now what are these tokens right now?
I don't know. We have a morph token out there. Paul got the. I mean, he brought tokens, so he brought tokens, but it does seem to be just the grab bag. The grab bag of those are just cards with writing on them, huh?
Awkward.
So, the way this combo works, you sack the Gak to the Altar of Dementia. You mill 8 cards, and you trigger your Bridge from Belows.
Nope,
You
there's
get
another one.
some zombies. You use those zombies to tap, and you convoke, or you delve away some extra garbage in your graveyard to Gak again. Then you get more zombies.
Hopefully while you're playing the cranberries in the background.
Yeah. Yes, the whole time. And then once you have the requisite amount of zombies, you divide your opponent's deck by 2.
And
And
count
then
and see if you have
You
that many
count
zombies.
and see if you have that much power in zombies, and then you mill them out. And unless they have Emrakul the Aeon's Torn, they die.
Is that going to be like the extra next level sideboard tech?
Yeah, just a single copy of Emrakul. And you just hope that they hit it real late in the sacrificing process so that they can't re-up and just attack to kill you the next turn. So anyway, so you heard it here first. The tech against Hogaak is 1 Emrakul the Aeon's Torn in your deck. Doesn't matter if it's uncastable or any number of other things. Also, fun fact, Hogaak is not affected by Trinisphere, so you can still cast it. So some chat questions: ban or no ban? I mean, I don't think Wizards is gonna ban it. I think that it should be banned.
Oh, well, okay, someone misses me in chat too, so that makes me feel good.
Aww.
Thank you. But you don't think Hogaak? Okay, Ian is on. We've gone in depth with this one on some text chains. Ian is definitely on. Hogaak is not going to be banned. I agree. I think we're both on the same team here, right? We're both
yeah.
on team ban, looting, and altar.
Yeah, I mean, I argue with Travis a lot about looting, but truthfully, I don't think that it would be bad if it got banned.
Yeah, I'm going to do the short spiel here, and I'm not going to get too in-depth, but I think it's ridiculous that Ponder and Preordain are banned, and looting is not banned, where the decks that are using looting now, everyone is like, oh, well, it's card disadvantage, but every deck that's playing it is using it for card advantage, so it's like better than just a cantrip. And if you're on the play and you have a looting deck, you present your opponent with like way too many avenues to deal with sometimes. And it's not just graveyard synergies. It's like you're going to be playing creatures, you're going to be making zombies, you're going to have like recursive creatures. it's too powerful of a spell for 1 mana to enable like mid-range decks to exist, which I think is for a fun and healthy format. You should be able to have some mid-range decks, and there's only so many zones that you can interact with with your opening 60 cards without having a bunch of duds. And Wizards isn't really into printing cards that have moderate upsides like Containment Priest for Modern, which it's not a total dud if you don't deal with a graveyard deck because it's a flash 2-power creature. But yeah, so when decks are main decking 4 Rest in Pieces or multiple Surgicals or Ley Lines, I think that's a problem.
And I kind of take the alternate approach that I don't believe blue should be the only color that has viable cantrips. And I feel like Faithless Looting is a viable cantrip, but I think there's been too many free cards printed around Faithless Looting and too many kind of abilities to abuse it via the graveyard. So I think if we banned like 50 cards around looting and left it in for the decks like Mardu Pyromancer that use it in a very fair way, then it would really make the format much better. But I don't think Wizards is gonna. I think the suits at the top won't let the GAC. They won't let the GAC go. People have spent their hard-earned Benjamins on the GAC.
Yeah, and you just have to like ban so many things and then not print cards in the future. Like if Faithless Looting costs 2, it would be totally fine because then if you're on the draw against a deck that is going to really abuse that mechanic, you have options. But just the fact that you can be on the draw and then have to deal with someone getting such a strong engine going on turn 1 where you don't have a lot of ways to interact unless you're playing Phyrexian mana spells or Ley Lines in your main deck is just a little bit too good for Modern right now, I think.
We did it. We had the conversation.
Yep.
We thought we weren't going to have this talk.
We talked about not having the talk before the stream.
Yeah, we didn't want to have the talk in front of everyone. But sometimes you just have to have the talk, and we weren't expecting to get gacked, and we got secretly gacked. And
so
this shuffle cam has been really long.
We always feature the top ranked table that chooses to not intentionally draw here for our round 4 feature match, and this was table number 1, and they decided to play it out, which props to those players. We definitely respect the not drawing and playing for all the marbles.
Oh man, so many lines of text in chat. Yeah, see Phyrexian mana cards. 100% on board with that. All right, we're playing some Magic again with some free cards. So let's get to Gackin.
So we're in the mid game right now, where Colton is now mulliganing for some graveyard hate.
Yeah, yeah. Travis has a new theory of game state. You gonna go through your phases?
Well, so early game is probably going to be your matchup.
Mm-hmm. Sitting at the table.
Sitting at the table
is early game.
Yep. And then so mid game is probably going to be, I guess, really your die roll.
Yeah.
And then late game is going to be your mulliganing decisions.
Yeah. Yeah. The mulliganing decision is like the Jace the Mind Sculptor late game of blue-white control in this matchup. We're already there. We've reached peak late game. Colton just desperately looking for footing, and the GAC just rising up.
Okay, we have an Inquisition. We don't have a Ley Line, but the Inquisition's a prob. Ooh. Couple good targets. Stitcher Supplier is a great but very variable turn 1 play. Faithless Looting also. You have a little bit more control over that, but a very strong turn 1 play as well. And we see that Crypt Breaker to sort of insulate against graveyard hate that Colton might bring in.
Take the Supplier. You take the Supplier. I feel like you gotta take the Supplier.
Oh, we got looting.
I don't even feel like Paul has that great of things to discard with looting currently. I honestly think Stitcher Supplier is one of the best enablers, if not the best enabler for this deck.
If you have Rest in Peace in hand, I feel like fine taking looting, because then looting gets you deeper into finding an answer for Rest in Peace. But if you don't, I do kind of like your line of taking the Supplier.
Because you know that Vengivine's coming back next turn if you don't got it. That's not a rest in peace.
Nope. Oh. Let's get our life totals right here.
I think, was Paul in the habit of like playing, when he played Tron, he'd play his Tron lands kind of in front of his board because the lands were the thing that mattered in Tron? He's kind of carried that over to the GAC here. He doesn't plan on attacking with creatures. He's going to tell his opponent to take their library like a pancake and flip it over.
Never too late. Yeah.
Well, we get our trigger with Bloodghast.
Chat's off on there. They're on a tangent. They're talking free spells. They're
Yeah.
carrying the conversation. We started it. We had the talk.
It's
and
true.
now they're doing their own thing with the talk.
Yeah, we have to kind of click away to see what chat's saying. So every now and then we click on chat, and it's wall of text here when we start talking about bannings.
Yeah, when you hear us go dead silent, it's because we're slow readers.
It's true. We're just trying to catch up, and that displacer gets pushed. That's Paul has some creatures that do some things.
uh,
Ooh, that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Oh, and we did some delving and some evoking. And what turn are we on? Are we on turn 2 here?
yeah, it's turn 2.
Okay.
It's fine. It's fine. It's whatever. It's fine.
Oh, but we get a surgical. Colton has a sideboard card here.
Nice.
Look at that.
He should be
Cool.
just fine.
Yeah, totally gonna be fine.
Hogaak's not an 8/8 trample or anything. You did it, Colin. You multi your hate, and it's making a big difference in this game.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about those Bridgevines at all for
Yeah,
the rest of the game.
you're
so
set.
you're good. It's cool.
It should be. It should be. It should be. You got two. I'm sure those 2 cards in your hand, along with these 2 lands you have out, should be just fine. I mean, you know, Thought-Knot Seer is a 4/4. That's like pretty big, right?
Yeah, I mean,
It's
Paul can
pretty
only send in
big.
an 8/8 through that. You probably don't even send in
Yeah,
the other
it's
creatures.
fine.
And Smasher's like a hasty 5/5.
Yeah, and you only need 2 more land drops to cast it.
Well,
so
Colton could have
once he
another
gets the-
Eldrazi Temple and play a turn 3 5/5.
seems pretty good. Turn 3 5/5s are broken.
Oh, it looks like we pushed that Crypt Breaker. It's that card's too OP. You got to get rid of it.
Chat, we can't do it. Chat, we're trying. We're just trying to have a straight game with the GAC, but we just can't do it. It's too funny.
Do you wanna update life totals here?
Nah,
You guys got an attack.
we're
coming?
We should be good. Let's just wait
2,
till next turn and then
5,
I'll
6,
go.
7, 8,
That's
9,
the wrong
10,
person. You're
11.
dealing damage to Paul.
Oh.
Colton's the one being attacked, but you know. We're fine. Paul wins.
Audin's great.
Should have split. Should have split. Sorry, Colton.
Yeah, well, for the record, Paul asked if Colton wanted to split, but Colton said they wanted to
Nice.
play out,
Oh,
so-
man. Colton's my hero then.
Yeah.
You know?
Thanks for taking one for the team.
Yeah. And it looks like he had like 4 relics in his deck too, which also do almost nothing against the GAC, but you know.
It just it amazes me how much like hate cards you can bring in and then still just lose against this deck.
Yeah.
Where I feel like it's very different than than your artifact decks, where it's like, well, they can play around a Stony Silence, but it really slows them down. But then if you have 2 hate pieces, probably can't win against that. But like, Hogaak was like, oh, a surgical? Was that even a speed bump? Did I run over something? Didn't feel it.
Yeah, there was a part of me that was wondering if people were just like over sideboarding against Hogaak, and we all just kind of thought it was too good, and so we were diluting our decks and making our decks so bad with sideboard cards that you know that we were just sabotaging ourselves, but just not the case. Like,
Yeah, I feel like probably everyone should, I'm not being facetious, but like everyone should probably be playing for Leyline of the Voids no matter what color you're in.
Yeah.
If you want to have like game against this deck.
Yeah.
Or you could just ignore it and then do whatever it is that you do.
Well,
But
and hashtag not even sponsored, but Wizards is reprinting Leyline of the Void in the next core set. So you can get your copies today so that you can continue to play Modern and possibly have fun when you mulligan to the right cards.
Well, and then also, the banned and restricted announcement's going to be after Core 2020 is out for a while, so you can reap those rewards and then ban it.
All right.
Great way to end the
we
evening
lost
here.
it. We lost it. We're off the rails.
Oh, wait. Should we pitch subscriptions and follows? Do you want to do this, Ian? I always do it.
Yeah. So if you like watching Hogaak in Modern, you should throw a Twitch Prime subscription or a follow our way, as the only way we are able to continue bringing Hogaak to your screens is with the support of y'all. That's not even true. We'll probably we'll do this anyway.
I'll say if we get like 3 Prime subscriptions like right after this announcement, we'll never show Hogaak again on stream here.
That's bold. I don't know if I'm willing to. I don't know if we basically will just not be able to show the top tables for some number of weeks. But anyway, in all truth, we do really appreciate the support. It goes towards cables and eventually upgrades that we're hoping to have 2 cameras so that we can do multiple matches. And
yeah, maybe in 2 years we'll buy ourselves a hamburger after the event.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah, we're
getting there.
You start slow and then you accelerate, just like in Aria of Flame or a Hogaak Bridgevine.
Well, thank you everyone for hanging out with us in chat, watching the stream. If you're interested, we have our VODs posted on YouTube, usually after a couple days, or you can rewatch the whole stream on our Twitch channel for the next couple weeks. We're here every Monday at 6:30 p.m. at hosting Modern at Guardian Games. And it's really good to see Kevin in the chat. Sorry, Kevin. We usually have a little iPad up that is like showing our chat here, but we ran out of the batteries tonight. But yeah, I hope if anyone's interested, you should also check out Capons' stream, who usually is playing some pretty sweet Death and Taxes or Eldrazi and Taxes list. Hopefully you're still on that. I wonder if you're excited about any new cards. But yeah, thanks for hanging out, and we will see you next week.
Yeah. Play your 4 Rest in Pieces main deck.
Our Leyline of the Void if you really want to get there.
Yeah. All right. We out.